A guest at an estate sale purchased a painting for $12, believing it to be the work of a Mexican artist who had to flee to France due to political controversy. The guest recalled that the artist, Joachim Clausell, was not only a lawyer, but also a political activist who eventually took up the painting after being influenced by Impressionist artists in Paris. Clausell's last residence is now a museum in Mexico City. Upon appraising the painting, it was identified as a possible work by Clausell, likely dated in the 1920s.
He was actually a lawyer by trade, and was also a political rabble-rouser, as you've rightly said.
They called him the chicken lawyer.
Yep, he went to law school, but took rather a long time to finish.
Although the painting is unsigned, a label on the back provides critical information, including the title, Pasaje del Estado de Mexico, and a reference to Clausell's studio. However, the label doesn't provide a full attribution to Clausell, which complicates its authentication. The appraiser noted that while the frame is not original and it has been repainted, the painting itself has strong indications of being an authentic work by Clausell. Given the uncertainty due to the lack of a signature, the painting is currently considered attributed to Clausell. Despite this, the appraiser estimated its value at auction to be between $15,000 to $20,000. If further research and expert consultation confirm the painting as an authentic work of Clausell, the estimated value could increase significantly, reaching $30,000 to $50,000 at auction.
And at auction, if it's a full attribution, we would estimate it at $30,000 to $50,000.
Very good.
It's a great picture.
Yes, I like it a lot.
He inherited this from his grandparents. The 1970 Paul Evans coffee table is a mid-century modern masterpiece, blending craft and sculpture. Paul Evans is renowned for his bold experimental furniture design. Discover this bold, striking design statement.
Their old cat used to always creep through there, and at Christmas time my grandma would put a Christmas manger inside in the middle. A lot of fond memories of my childhood around this table.
The table's base holds a thick, round glass top, showcasing the intricate metalwork beneath. The table is both functional and artistic, reflecting Evans' celebrated brutalist style. The mix of industrial and handcrafted details make the table a unique conversation piece. The unique design impressed, and the appraiser valued the item.
I was going to say $5,000 to $7,000 because I'm an auctioneer and I'm conservative.
Great.
That is bingo right where this table would be.
This piece holds sentimental value to the guest and is a flower basket by the Whitting Company.
My family, at least since my grandfather, when he passed, it went to my mother. She had it always in a place of prominence in her house. She loved it. So I always remember it growing up as a kid. It just has a lot of sentimental value to me. And
the Whitting Company was later absorbed by the Gorham Company in 1924. This particular silver basket represents one of the finest ever items made by the Whitting Company. Featured on it are beautiful decorations, which include wonderful entwined leaves and some wonderful chrysanthemums. There are many stamps on this piece, and one of such is by the retailer involved in the piece. There is also 4 numbers, which are certainly the model number for this piece. The base of the basket itself, too, is also unique and a beautiful example of Whitting's works.
And then right below that was this very interesting little triad sign. It's a little trefoil sign, which is actually the date mark for 1910.
oh,
So we know all about it.
yeah.
It's a really, really lovely example of their work.
In an auction today, this unique-looking silver basket, with its provenance, would be valued at.
I would recommend an auction estimate of around about $5,000 to $7,000.
Okay. A little more than I thought it was going to be. That's exciting, actually.
On display is a collection of paintings created in the 1950s by the guest's uncle.
I called him Uncle Deanie because it was Roy Dean DeForest.
Uh-huh.
My earliest memories of him are sitting at the kitchen table doodling.
DeForest was an American painter, sculptor, and teacher. Roy DeForest, he was involved in both the funk art and nut art movements in the Bay Area of California. Forrest created these paintings for the guest's mother when she decided to write a children's book. The vibrancy and subject of these paintings are well illustrated. These paintings are done in gouache on paperboard. The guest has done a remarkable job preserving these pieces over the years. Given the popularity of DeForest's paintings, this entire collection would be worth
So we're thinking that an insurance value of maybe $40,000 for the collection of 13.
A family heirloom, a flintlock pistol, held a surprising secret beyond its worn appearance. Believing to be a relic of the 13 Colonies era, it was in fact a product of the Federal period. This unassuming antique, discovered by chance in the 1930s, was destined for a revelation that would redefine its value. This pistol is a creation of Halbach and Sons, renowned Baltimore gunsmiths of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Their signature, a stylized folk art eagle adorned with 13 stars, was unmistakable.
Could be as late as 1810, but certainly before the War of 1812. Wow. One of the other features of Halbach guns is this sort of shell motif in the raised carved apron behind the tang.
This pistol was categorized as a secondary material, a type of firearm often purchased by military officers for personal use. Despite missing its fore-end cap and ramrod, elements that would have enhanced its overall condition, at auction, its value is still in the substantial range of.
Auction market, this gun is going to bring somewhere in the $4,000 to $6,000 range. It might bring a little bit more, but that's probably where that gun's going to sell.
A guest presented a cherished tankard and goblet set for appraisal. Despite limited knowledge of their origins, it expresses a deep affection for the pieces. A treasured gift was unveiled as a creation of the renowned jeweler Tiffany & Co. Expert examination revealed the Tiffany & Co. Union Square inscription on the tankard's base. It definitely places the set's creation in the third quarter of the 19th century. Its exquisite craftsmanship is evident in the lifelike game bird decorations adorning both the tankard and goblets. These intricate details significantly enhance the set's aesthetic appeal and overall value. Exceptional artistry culminated in an estimated auction value of.
You'd be looking at $4,000 to $6,000 in an auction setting.
I promise not to say that.
A seemingly ordinary bronze sculpture, a familiar presence in a family home for generations, revealed a surprising history. Passed down through the family, the piece had always been admired, but its true value remained unknown.
The artist's name right here is Christophe Fratin. Starting in the early part of the 19th century and one of the first French bronze artists to really sort of focus on animal subjects.
Crafted by renowned French artist Christophe Fratin and dates back to the 1860s, known for his exceptional talent in depicting animal subjects, Fratin, whose father was a taxidermist, brought a unique perspective to his work. This sculpture, titled Large 10-Point Stag Walking, was a testament to his skill, capturing the majestic creature with lifelike detail. A hidden fox, meticulously sculpted within the piece, showcased the artist's keen attention to detail. Cast by the Charpentier foundry, the bronze was likely an early production, adding to its desirability. The sculpture's exceptional quality and the artist's reputation placed it in a high-value category. Exceptional quality and the artist's reputation enhance its value too.
An auction estimate, I'd say between $3,000 and $5,000.
Really? Oh my goodness. Who'd have thought?
A treasure trove of space memorabilia emerged from the personal collection of a NASA technical illustrator. Among the items was a remarkable set, a painting of the iconic Apollo 11 mission patch in its preliminary stage, alongside the signed final version. This guest, the illustrator's son, inherited these pieces and sought an appraisal.
Michael Collins, who was the pilot for the Apollo 11 mission, came up with kind of the original germ of the design, the concept of the design.
Michael Collins said what they wanted is they were the eagle, they were landing on the moon. So he said, I want an eagle in it.
Its original design, conceived by Apollo 11 pilot Michael Collins, was a bold representation of an eagle landing on the moon. However, upon review, the image was deemed too aggressive. Working closely with Collins, the illustrator would enhance the eagle's image by adding an olive branch to its talons. It created the iconic symbol that would be carried to the moon. This preliminary painting and the final find patch combined to create a package estimated at.
We give a fair auction estimate of around $3,000 to $5,000 for this collection.
Wow, thank you very much. That's amazing.
A Civil War era sword presented to the show. It is a veteran of the Union Army's 26th Illinois Infantry Regiment. The sword bore an inscription detailing its presentation to Colonel Gilmore by a regimental sutler named Joseph H. Shreve. Identified as a model 1850 staff officer's sword, The weapon displayed clear signs of wear and use. Its manufacturer, Ames Manufacturing Company of Chicopee, Massachusetts, was a prominent supplier to the Union Army during the Civil War. While the sword exhibited damage indicative of battlefield use, it included a replaced drag and a worn cartouche. Its historical significance was undeniable.
The sword itself, it's a model 1850 staff officer sword. And we know it's for staff, which is the higher ranking soldiers.
A presentation inscription and the sword's association with a distinguished military unit significantly elevated its value. At auction, this phenomenal item is estimated between.
This is a sword that would retail between $3,000 and $4,000.
Thank you.
A fortuitous discovery unfolded when a couple, with a penchant for royal memorabilia, unearthed a captivating dish at a local market. Intrigued by its aesthetic resemblance to a piece they'd admired at York Castle Museum, they made a speculative purchase. It is identified as Delftware and features a portrait of Queen Mary II, consort to William III of England. While typically paired with a companion piece depicting William III, the solitary dish nonetheless held significant historical and artistic value. Crafted in the Dutch city of Delft, likely in the aftermath of Queen Mary's demise in 1694, this incredible piece represented a tangible link to a pivotal era in British history. Its polychrome decoration is a departure from the more common monochromatic Delftware, enhancing the dish's visual appeal. Despite minor condition issues, such as hairline cracks and glaze loss, the piece remained a desirable collectible.
You've got a dish that's got this polychrome decoration, not just monochrome decoration. Very often you'll find Dutch decorated wares in just blue and white, which certainly don't have quite the pop.
An estimated auction value for this piece would be between.
Where there's other Delft being sold, other commemoratives being sold, I would expect it to sell in the range of $3,000 to $5,000.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Presented here is a beautiful example of a Danish valet chair, elegantly situated before us. His passion for Danish modern design prompted the guest's husband to purchase this exceptional chair in the early 1970s.
Wonderful example of mid-century modern Danish design. It is the kind of chair that we love to see because it stands alone as a piece of sculpture.
This chair transcends functionality, existing as a singular sculptural form. Hans Wegner designed this chair in 1953, and it was later produced by Johannes Hansen in Denmark in the late 1950s. Hans Wegner was a renowned Danish furniture designer and craftsman. Wegner designed over 500 chairs during his career, including famous pieces like the Peacock chair and the Wishbone chair. Beautifully crafted from premium teak, the chair also features some remarkable functional elements.
Great ingenuity to the design. These are very popular chairs. Mid-century modern is particularly collected these days.
As a prime example of Danish design, this elegant piece is highly sought after by collectors and would likely fetch.
In an auction situation, we would put an estimate of $6,000 to $8,000 on it.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. No, $6,000 to $8,000.
The guest revealed the artifact's origin, brought back from Africa by their father. The emotional value of the artifact was immense due to its connection to their father. Upon examining the artifact, it was recognized that it is a slit gong from the Teta tribe. The Teta tribe was known for their intricate drums. Never before had another drum exactly like this one been seen. Featuring a narrow form with a large gouged-out interior, the drum's design was unique. Estimated to date from the late 19th century or early 20th century, the drum's age was assessed, contributing to the drum's excellent sound. The wood used was of fine grain. Noted was the drum's likely use in ceremonial rituals. Visible carvings were absent on the drum's surface to preserve its tone. Fluting with strong architectural elements adorned the side of the drum. Mentioned in the artifact inventory was a drum listed as the telegraph drum. The appraiser estimated its value to be around.
I'm really conservative with my prices, and I think probably between $4,000 and $6,000 retail.
She discovered it in a thrift store 20 years ago. As a graphic designer, she's drawn to vibrant colors. Lou Stovall is a celebrated printmaker, known for his impact on DC's art scene. This piece captures 60s and 70s psychedelic design with bold, vibrant shapes. The text, Market Day, hints it was likely a poster for local events, a rare find with an intriguing history.
So this was made by a Washington, D.C. artist. It's a D.C. address, 619 D Street Southeast, so we know it's Washington, D.C. His name is Lou Stovall.
Stovall's layered colors and forms showcase his mastery of screen printing. The design's fluidity and dynamism capture the era's countercultural and nature-inspired spirit. The vibrant interplay of colors and forms reflects an artistic vision that the appraiser valued.
Today at auction, I would conservatively put this at $1,500 to $2,000.
Awesome.
It's groovy.
It's very groovy.
Before us today is a truly exceptional treasure, one that stands out even among other remarkable treasures. The guest, unaware of its true significance, believes it was a gift from the legendary Kit Carson to his grandmother's foster father.
Whoever, I'm sure everybody knows in his history, given to the foster father of my grandmother.
Dating from circa 1840 to 1860, this remarkable piece is the first type of chief's blanket ever made, known as an Ute first phase example. Crafted by Navajo hands for Ute leaders, this blanket was a symbol of wealth and prestige in its era.
This is just pure linear design. This is the beginning of Navajo weaving. The condition of this is unbelievable.
The Navajo people, also known as the Dini, are the Native American tribe that traditionally inhabited the Four Corners region of the southwestern United States, which includes part of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. Despite its age, the piece is in remarkable condition, with only minor flaws that do not detract from its value.
It was a very valuable die at the time, and what's really interesting is right here we have an old repair that was probably done in the 1860s, and it's done with raveled bayeta, which is in itself a very important thing in Navajo weaving.
A noteworthy feature is a vintage repair from the 1860s, skillfully executed with raveled bayeta, which adds to its historical significance. As an extraordinary piece of tribal art, and extremely rare, it would have an auction value of.
On a really bad day, this textile would be worth $350,000. On a good day, it's about $500,000.
Oh my God.
This haunting artwork holds a chilling secret from cinema history. Clem Hall designed it for Rosemary's Baby. It's a mood piece for the film. Famous artists often worked in movie studios. This piece shows a loose, atmospheric style. Rosemary's Baby is a notoriously creepy film. The artwork captures the movie's eerie essence. At auction, this haunting artwork would be valued at.
We feel at auction you put at least $1,000 to $1,500 on it.
Wow, I'm glad I saved.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too.
With captivating glaze and colours, there was no way the guest wasn't going to acquire this piece.
What did you get? A lamp at a thrift store. And you bought it where? Here in town about 3 months ago. It was $8.
These qualities and attractiveness led the guest to acquiring this lamp at a thrift store. The metalwork on the lamp can be almost said to be custom made, which is an unusual occurrence in pieces like this. From the metalwork of the mount, it shows the piece is Art Deco inspired. This lamp was made by the man, or the studio, owned by Pierre-Adrien Dalpayrat. On the underside of the lamp is Dalpayrat's sign. The glaze has an ox blood colour, a colour Dalpayrat used a lot in most of his works.
Worked a lot with reds. He did a lot of ox blood glazes. And sometimes they were shiny and glossy, and sometimes they were completely dead matte.
In an auction, the piece that started as a vase and morphed into a lamp would be valued at.
Probably more like $1,200 to $1,700 because of the damage.
A set of porcelain figures passed down through generations revealed a surprising royal connection. Hailing from the East Coast, the pieces found their way to Salt Lake City through the hands of a discerning grandmother who believed in their value. These were crafted by the renowned Minton Porcelain Company, inspired by the Queen's beasts. Iconic statues guarded the entrance to Westminster Abbey during the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. Sculpted by James Woodford, These mythical creatures represented various aspects of British heraldry, a tradition deeply rooted in English history.
And they were new in 1953. In that year, Queen Elizabeth II became Queen of England. An English sculptor by the name of James Woodford.
A centerpiece of the set, a majestic lion adorned with the shield of Great Britain, symbolized England. Accompanying it was the unicorn of Scotland and the red dragon of Wales, each embodying their respective nations. As limited editions, these porcelain masterpieces were both luxurious and rare, commanding a significant price when first released. Minton porcelain, established in the late 18th century, has maintained a prestigious reputation for excellence. At an auction, the estimated value of these incredible pieces would be.
I estimate the value of the set to be between $4,000 and $6,000.
Oh, gosh. That's great. Thank you.
A meticulously crafted letter seal was brought to the show. It is devoid of engraving but adorned with a frosted acanthus leaf and a strawberry-like design. Interestingly, it rests on an amazing velvet-lined leather case. This piece is in remarkable condition and is a testament to skilled craftsmanship. Its history is as intriguing as its appearance, as it was discovered by a lucky estate sale shopper. The seal belonged to a Russian emigre who found success as a lawyer in Boston, primarily serving the immigrant community. A journey from clergy to a sailor by the man to ultimately a respected legal professional is as captivating as the artifact itself. Its historical significance, coupled with its exquisite design and pristine condition, makes it a coveted item for collectors. An expert in antique collectibles values the piece between.
I would appraise this between $2,000 and $4,000 in value.
Good.
Today's exhibition features a remarkable collection of pottery, highlighting outstanding examples of individual craftsmanship. The guest's husband, aware of his wife's significant involvement in the women's movement of the 1970s, purchased these pieces as a gesture of solidarity, each one featuring a female-centric theme.
Women in action and all of this kind of thing, and I was so pleased to think that he would think of me like that. And he's gone now, but this is a wonderful memory for me.
Every item in the collection is a testament to Palaia Pillan's exceptional skill and artistry. Palaia Pillan was a Polish-American ceramicist from Częstochowa, Poland. Born in 1909, Palaia immigrated to the United States in 1924, settling in Chicago before making her way to Los Angeles, where she would establish herself as a prominent figure in mid-century ceramics.
But a lot of her painting skills were entirely her own. She just learned by herself how to do it.
With a keen eye for detail and a passion for storytelling through clay, Palaia crafted exquisite pieces that captured the essence of her adopted homeland. Her ceramics, often featuring women, horses, cats, and other animals, blended traditional techniques with modernist flair, earning her a loyal following among collectors and art enthusiasts.
Now, the pottery itself is not very sophisticated. The shapes are simple. Some of it is kind of clunky and almost a little crude, but it's not about the pottery, it's about the painted decoration.
Yes.
She considered pottery to be her canvas.
These two exceptional pieces from the collection are estimated to fetch.
I would estimate a retail value in the top two vases between $1,000 and $1,500 a piece.
That's nice.
In comparison, these three beautiful pieces would individually have a retail price of.
All three of those, I think, would have a similar price, somewhere between $600 and $900 a piece.
Oh, nice.
Lastly, the covered box at the bottom would have a value of.
Would be a value somewhere between $400 and $600.
Oh, that's lovely.
The artwork captures the guest's image at the tender age of 12. In the bottom corner, the portrait bears the signature of the renowned artist, Harold Riley.
We can see down here it's signed Riley for Harold Riley, the local Salford boy, born and bred, and one of the most prominent artists still working in the north of England.
Harold Riley is a master artist whose brushstrokes have captured the essence of his subjects with unparalleled precision and emotion. From his early days as a young artist, Riley demonstrated a prodigious gift for portraiture, able to coax depth and nuance from his sitters. His paintings are not mere likenesses, but windows into the souls of those who sit for him. In the world of art, Harold Riley is a name synonymous with mastery, his paintings a testament to the transformative power of creativity. Uniquely, he added the final touch to the piece by painting in the fizzy pop drink. The guest had been enjoying, demonstrating his creative flair.
Look at the way he's captured your physiognomy. I mean, it's just a few quick strokes of the ink pen. And then at the end, he's dipped his fingers in the cola and he's just gone for it confidently.
If this stunning artwork were to be auctioned, its value would be
somewhere between £400 and £600.
That's lovely, thank you.
The guest received this painting as a gift from her dearest friend. This painting was by artist Elaine de Kooning, and the guest had admired the piece for decades, having first noticed it 35 to 40 years ago in a friend's home. Elaine de Kooning was known for her involvement in the abstract expressionist movement, and during that time, she befriended the guest's friend, who was studying art at the university. Abstract Expressionism was a distinct art movement after World War II and was a shift from the American social realism of the 1930s, influenced by the Great Depression and Mexican muralists. This particular painting was a mixed media work on paper depicting a bull. It was created around the period when Elaine was captivated by bullfights in Juarez. The painting featured a striking combination of water-based gouache and acrylic paints, which contributed to its vibrant and captivating appearance. The guest was surprised to learn from the appraiser that its auction value could be between.
Well, I don't think you should insure it for less than 140,000, 150,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you might want to have a word with your insurance.
My premiums are going up.
They are, but it's worth it.
Yes.
This treasured guitar belonged to the guest's late husband, a cowboy and musician. He likely acquired it in the early 1940s and played it throughout his life. Remarkably, he would take this guitar on trail rides down the Grand Canyon, serenading travelers. The guitar was crafted by C.F. Martin Company in 1938, a 00042 model.
This guitar is made by C.F. Martin Company in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and it was made in 1938. It's a triple odd.
It features exquisite materials, including Adrianac spruce and Brazilian rosewood, with abalone pearl inlays. The appraiser noted that it's highly valued by collectors, guitar makers, and musicians alike. It's a true gem in the world of guitars, and it's in excellent condition. At auction, this guitar could easily fetch a price of
Would easily sell between $20,000 and $25,000.
Oh, yes, that's...
Though not for sale, the guest is delighted to know its significant value. The guest's beloved teddy bear, a seemingly ordinary childhood companion, was revealed to be a treasure trove of value and history. The bear is a rare example of a Steiff cinnamon bear, a highly sought-after collectible among antique toy enthusiasts. Produced by the renowned German toy maker Steiff in approximately 1909, the bear represented a golden age of teddy bear craftsmanship. The company's meticulous attention to detail, evident in the bear's construction and materials, contributed to its enduring appeal. The cinnamon color, a distinctive characteristic of this particular bear, further enhanced its desirability among collectors. Despite its age, the bear's excellent condition shows it was taken care of by the owner. The combination of the bear's aesthetic appeal, historical significance, and investment potential made it a truly exceptional find. The appraised value of the bear is a substantial sum of
a cinnamon bear. It would be very hard to find one under £4,000.
My goodness, it's you're worth.
The guest presented a stunning Tiffany-style lamp, a cherished family heirloom passed down through generations. While lacking a definitive Tiffany mark, the lamp exhibited the characteristic artistry and craftsmanship associated with the renowned glassmaker. The use of layered iridescent glass and the intricate floral design were hallmarks of Tiffany's innovative approach to glassmaking. The lamp's base, with its Art Nouveau-inspired form, further supported the possibility of its Tiffany origin. However, the absence of a Tiffany mark introduced an element of uncertainty. While the lamp is of exceptional quality and aesthetic appeal, it is not advisable to attribute it to Louis Comfort Tiffany without concrete evidence. Conducting further research to confirm the lamp's authenticity could potentially uncover its specific design history within the Tiffany catalogue. Despite the lack of a definitive mark, a substantial insurance value for the lamp is.
I think in terms of insurance, 10 years ago I'd have given double the price I'm giving now. And now I would say for insurance you've got to think about 20 or 30,000.
While out shopping, the guest stumbled upon this incredible lamp at a thrift store. The guest was drawn to this captivating piece by its striking glaze and colours.
The glaze, the colors in it, I just thought it was interesting the way it looked.
The glaze on it is gorgeous. The metalwork that is all around it is really unusual.
The metalwork on this mount is characteristic of the Art Deco style. This central piece is from an earlier time, possibly created by Pierre-Adrien Dalpayrat, or his studio. In the heart of Limoges, France, a city renowned for its porcelain legacy, Pierre-Adrien Dalpayrat was born with a creative spark that would ignite a revolution in the world of ceramics.
So what you have is a piece made by either the man or the studio of Pierre-Adrien Dalpayrat.
Dalpayrat's studio became a hub of creative fervour, attracting like-minded artists and collaborators, including the illustrious Louis Comfort Tiffany. Originally a vase, this piece was later repurposed as a lamp.
This is such a beautiful example. So it started as a vase, and then it was turned into a lamp. And I know that because I unscrewed the bottom.
This exceptional piece has a tiny defect, impacting its value, estimated to be,
I'm so sorry to say, probably more like 1,200 to 1,700 because of the damage.
For 16 years, the guest oversaw tests on NASA's zero-gravity aircraft, famously known as the Vomit Comet.
The NASA zero-G airplane, lovingly called the Vomit Comet. We flew parabolic trajectories to simulate zero gravity or lunar gravity as required.
When he retired in 1977, he was given this picture of the aircraft, bearing signatures from 16 astronauts and fellow team members.
I started in this program in '62. I went to work for NASA, which was then called NACA at the time, in 1954.
The guest also brought a set of photographs documenting his encounters with prominent individuals and significant career moments. Nearly all of these photos bear the signatures of the astronauts, making them unique and personalized.
That's me on the left, and it's Marcia Ivins on the right. Marcia was an engineer with NASA beginning about 1974.
Among the collection's highlights is a photo of Gordon Cooper, a trailblazing American astronaut, engineer, and test pilot, and one of the first 7 astronauts selected for Project Mercury. Also included is a notable photo of Alan Shepard, the first American in space. Notable among the collection are photographs from the Apollo 11 mission, autographed by all 3 space pioneers. The auction estimate for the entire collection of these historic photographs is expected to reach.
We would put an estimate between $35,000 and $45,000 at auction.
Yeah.
The guest brought onto the show a model of a prisoner of war ship. The model was created by a French prisoner of war during the Napoleonic Wars around the 1800s.
And when they were thrown into the clink, they had nothing better to do, and the guys who had skills would make various items, and this is kind of on the top of the chart of being able to make things.
Prisoners used various techniques to replicate ship components. In this case, the ship was made from rationed bone, which was left over from meals in the prison.
So these French ships of war were captured by the Brits, and the sailors were imprisoned in British prisons.
We can see the extraordinary technical skill of the ship's maker, including details such as hatches with cannons and intricate rigging.
You can imagine the amount of what is called ration bones that were created in order to create these objects. And the bones were manipulated, they were soaked.
At the front of the ship, there is a carving of a woman beckoning the vessel. Interestingly, the guest also brought the original wooden case of the ship. In an original setting, given that the components of this piece are intact, it would easily be worth.
We'd probably value it in the $9,000 to $12,000 range.
Presented here is a fascinating collection of original artwork created for Mad magazine. The collection was passed down to the guest from his father, who led Mad Magazine as a director from 1956 until his death in 1980.
And they had a roast for him in 1976 in which all the artists at Mad Magazine contributed something.
This artwork stands as one of the most beloved and enduring Mad Magazine covers.
Well, this is one of the most famous of all the Mad Magazine covers. It's a bicentennial cover, and it's a takeoff, of course, on the famous Gilbert Stuart painting.
Although this artwork was intended for the cover, it was ultimately rejected for a revised version with a red background, deemed brighter by the publisher.
Then Bill Gaines, the publisher, decided that he wanted something brighter, so he had to repaint it with a red background, which is what you see on the cover.
Jack Davis, the master cartoonist and illustrator behind many iconic Mad Magazine covers, is the creative force behind this artwork. This collection is further enriched by the inclusion of a work by the esteemed Don Martin. The collection also boasts a striking double portrait of Uncle Sam and Mrs. Sam.
Here we have, I think, a wonderful double portrait here, Uncle Sam and Mrs. Sam.
At auction, this outstanding collection would command a conservative estimate of.
Your reserve, that is the price below which you would not sell it, would be in the $20,000 range.
Okay, wow.
On today's episode, we're taken to southeast London. A pair of paintings, given to the guest by his godmother, are presented. One of the paintings is by a British painter, often referred to as the naive painter.
This Alfred Wallace, he is a naive painter. He was, in fact, the naive painter because discovered, really, by Ben Nicholson and Christopher Wood,
who was famous for his port landscapes and shipping scenes, called Alfred Wallace. Wallace captured the sea spirit with his brushstrokes.
I believe he liked to paint with boat paint because he thought that was proper paint.
And not on proper materials
No,
at all.
because I don't think he could afford it.
Peter Lanyon's work accompanies Wallace's maritime scene. Lanyon, a British painter, did landscapes which leaned heavily towards abstraction. This piece solves an art mystery as a lost Lanyon painting.
Because for copyright reasons. And we sent a picture of it to Mrs. Lanyon, and she said, no, it's not one of Peter's, I'm afraid. It's not a Lanyon.
In today's market, Lanyon's rediscovered masterpiece could fetch.
What did I put on that?
Was it 15, 20 or something? I can't remember.
25 to £30,000? Yeah, which is a lot at the time.
Right.
While Wallace's seascape might reach a value of,
I think it's worth exactly what I said it was then. So 20 to £30,000 just about does it. Tell you what though.
This ring tells a Titanic secret, captivating us with its story. The heirloom survived history's most famous shipwreck.
It does. It belonged to my grandmother, who was on the Titanic with her husband and mother and sister. They were taken off onto a lifeboat, but unfortunately her husband didn't make it.
A first-class ring, it bears the signature of La Cloche.
But she was wearing the ring at the time, so that survived. But she'd lost a child the year before. She hadn't been married more than a year and a half.
This ring was also an engagement ring, proven by the emerald on it.
She had other jewellery that was in the purser's safe, that obviously went down with the ship. But yes, she was wearing this.
It also has diamonds, all set in platinum on it. The ring's journey of surviving is quite incredible. It's even more surprising that it's still in pristine condition, despite its past. In an auction, if this ring's provenance with the Titanic can be confirmed, it could easily fetch a sum of.
I would say that's going to be in the region of about £6,000 to £8,000.
That's nice.
We are presented with a blanket that the guest acquired from an estate sale for $200. The guest is a collector of Native American items, including clothing and jewelry. This particular piece is crafted from trade materials. It's a blanket with a ribbon applique attached.
This particular piece is all trade material, and one of the early objects to come in was this blanket ground that this ribbon applique has been applied to.
This is a women's blanket, created in the 1920s or 30s, featuring a ribbon applique with an edging made from the selvage end of wool stroud.
The edging on the top is the salvage end of wool stroud, and stroud actually comes from Stroud in England.
This piece is a work of the Osage Indians. The ribbon work on this blanket is exquisite, with detailed cutouts and designs. The blanket is mostly machine stitched, with some additional handwork, though it's missing a ribbon at the bottom due to its fragile nature.
This piece is the work of Osage Indians, and it's a woman's blanket. The Osage Indians at the time of this piece was created were living in Oklahoma. This ribbon work is exquisite.
Finding such a blanket in very good condition is exciting, and in a retail setting, it would be valued at.
On today's market, in a retail setting, it would be worth $3,000 to $4,000. So
Okay.
you've done well.
Right.
Today, the guest presented a ladder-back chair he inherited from his grandmother.
It's a South Carolina chair, and it was given to my great-grandfather by General Wade Hampton.
The ladder-back gets its name from the rungs connected to its stiles, resembling a ladder. These chairs were crafted for centuries, from the 18th to 20th century, and were made everywhere.
Which is what this is. Ladderback gets its name from these rungs that connect to the stile, resembling the ladder. Ladderback chairs were made for centuries, beginning in the 18th century, through the 19th century, and up to the 20th century.
This particular chair exhibits a bit of grace and design elements not typical in other chairs. The alignment of the arms, their outward spread, and the seat's expansion make this chair stand out. Another interesting feature is the front leg, made from cypress, confirming it as a southern item.
And I say appears to, we believe it is cypress. My colleagues and I have all looked at it and believe that. But in order to be truly accurate, we need a wood ID to confirm that.
Okay.
This ladder-back chair also has a splint seat that has survived in its original state.
This one happens to be a splint seat, but they also came with rush seats as well as rawhide seats. What's impressive to me about the chair is that it survives in this original state.
Typical ladder-back chairs don't command much money in the marketplace, but the uniqueness of this one sets it apart. Although there's a chance that this chair has been modified, it doesn't affect its value. In today's market, this ladder-back chair, made of cypress and featuring a splint seat, would be valued at.
For insurance value, and this would be a hard chair to replace, I would put a value of $3,000.
Wow. Didn't see that. That's really neat.
The guest brought in a few pieces from a set of flatware she acquired at a yard sale in Minnesota.
We were up in Minnesota and we were on our way back because my husband doesn't fly, so we drive everywhere. And my husband said, oh, let's take Route 2.
This flatware is made of sterling silver from Denmark. It features a scroll pattern, which indicates it was hand done.
I didn't know about this until I got home. My husband said, what's in these things that are all wrapped up? We opened it up and he says, oh, it's all silver.
Produced from the preeminent firm of Georg Jensen, this silverware was made in 1930. Complete sets like this are fairly scarce, making this one unique. Finding a whole set, especially one with this age and still in good condition, is quite unusual. In today's market, these few pieces of flatware displayed on the show would probably be worth in a retail setting around.
Right now would probably be worth in a retail setting around $2,500.
If it's the whole set, in today's market, a set of flatware in good condition made of sterling silver would be worth.
That in this environment today on the retail level would be somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000. It's an unbelievable investment for $25.
Yeah. Wow.
An outstanding 20th century sideboard is featured in today's episode. The guest and her husband were presented with this stunning piece by his parents as a wedding gift.
It was given to us by my husband's parents. They purchased it when they got married and gave it to us after we got married.
With its mahogany inlay, this sideboard is a quintessential example of federal design. The form and proportions of this piece are truly exceptional.
It's a federal style sideboard. It's a beautifully inlaid mahogany piece.
Distinctive features of this piece identify it as an early 20th century creation, rather than a 19th century piece.
You're probably right. I would say this is actually a 20th century piece, or what we call a style piece. When we look at a piece of furniture, first we look at the overall form.
Upon examining the sides of the case, we notice that they do not align with the legs.
Then if you look on the sides of the case, they're not flush with the legs. If we look here, you'll see a tiny shoulder here.
Further evidence of its early 20th century origins is found in the slotted screws used for brass handles on the drawers.
Then what I'd like to do is I'd like to pull out this drawer. If we look in the inside here, you'll see that there's slotted screws for the brass. For a period brass.
In the final appraisal, this masterfully crafted sideboard would achieve an auction price of...
I think if this piece were to come to auction, we'd give it an auction estimate of $800 to $1,200.
Okay.
Large-scale train photograph posters in mural-like proportions are on display today. A chance encounter with a newspaper advertisement revealed a downtown Ohio shop's liquidation sale, prompting the guest to buy these oversized photographs.
I was visiting a friend in Youngstown, Ohio, and he saw a newspaper ad for an auction of a hobby shop in downtown Cleveland, Ohio.
Via the internet, the guest contacted the Train Collectors Association Museum in Pennsylvania, which has an extensive reference library, and obtained copies of the 1936 catalogue, confirming the photograph's origin. Lionel's catalogue promotes both pieces as large-scale, mural-like train posters designed for display in their toy department store. These images are truly massive, spanning 14 feet in length and 4 feet in height. They are exceptionally rare and remarkable modernist images representing the apex of American streamlined trains. Given their catalogue sales, these images are probably not unique, but rather part of a larger production run.
These are fantastic modernist images, and these are really the pinnacle of American streamlined trains. I will also tell you that they're very rare.
Each of these exceptional photographs would command an auction price of...
We felt that a conservative estimate would be between $3,500 and $4,500 for each one.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Today's featured piece is a beautiful Groovy pottery tile. The guest received this lovely piece from his friend, an antique dealer in Florida, in an exchange.
Well, I got it from my best friend who's an antique dealer down in Florida. He knows I like pottery, and about 6 months ago he showed up at my house with this, and I swapped him a clock for the tile.
This piece can be attributed to Groovy pottery due to several distinctive characteristics. On the reverse side, Groovy usually adds their signature, while the artist's signature is displayed on the front. Another distinctive feature of Groovy pottery is the division of the back into 4 sections. Moreover, the distinctive pooling of glazes is a clear indicator of its origins.
There are other elements like the way this is divided into 4 sections, the larger tiles usually are, but beyond that, the main thing is the way these glazes have gathered. That's like a signature for Groovy.
Notably, this piece boasts over a dozen colors, unlike most Groovy pieces which typically feature polychrome hues.
Groovy tiles are polychrome, 4, 5, 6 colors. This has a dozen colors in it. The type of decoration is called cuenca, which is like a burnt rope design where this burnt black line.
Boasting a vibrant image, excellent color, and distinct separation, this tile would potentially fetch.
At auction, this tile is worth somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000.
Nice.
Today's guest showcased a pair of paintings she purchased about 40 years ago. These works were created circa 1980 by Clementine Hunter. Hunter was a self-taught black folk artist from the Cane River region of Louisiana. One of the paintings depicts a nativity scene featuring the biblical Mary and Jesus, with angels flying over the manger and the 3 wise men in attendance.
In the world of folk art and outsider art, Clementine Hunter is a very well-known name. Clementine Hunter was the granddaughter of a slave and spent most of her life on Melrose Plantation.
The second painting captures a lively scene, with characters shown in front of a bar, engaged in drinking and brawling. In the lower right corner of each painting, we can see the artist's distinctive signature. Also, the guest brought a Polaroid photo of the artist posing with one of these paintings, which further adds to its authenticity. Paintings by Hunter are highly sought after, and at auction, we can expect this pair to be worth.
I would think that each are worth about $2,000 to $2,500 a piece, so maybe $4,000 to $5,000 for both.
What we have here is a wax doll that belonged to the guest's great-grandmother. This piece is an English poured wax doll, with some wax components having a composite base. Made in England, circa the 1850s, the doll has no visible marks to identify its maker.
We don't know for sure who she is. Sometimes there's a mark on the leg, but I don't even want to take her apart to take a look at that.
It still retains its original dress and box, which further enhances its value. Additionally, the doll features a detailed facial expression, including painted eyes and eyebrows. Given the doll's age, it is quite fragile, with the wax having become brittle and discolored over time. However, the overall condition of the doll remains very pristine. At auction, this vintage English doll could command a significant value of.
She would be a doll that would be around $600, maybe $700. This outfit is fabulous.